Franklin High School, her mom and two brothers killed. Her dad and sister survive a rollover wreck. You are offering support, like Samantha. How sad. Bless their family. Our hearts go out to the family and the two recovering. It also sparks a discussion on checking your tires before taking a road trip. Also tonight, we'll see you on the CW because you're still talking about gay marriage, now legal in all 50 states, and how different lawmakers say it's not so black and white, and others saying they don't have to preside over weddings based on their religious beliefs. Well, that has Elva telling us, it is my religious belief that I should not pay taxes or follow government laws. Is that okay? And you might not want to stare this gorilla in the eyes. You might end up at his place watching a movie. Some are calling this the sexiest gorilla alive. Wait for this one, Nicole.
What did I miss here?
Oh, it's coming up.
Well, I'm tracking thunderstorms moving in from the east. Will you get hit tonight? I'll have that answer coming up in Storm Track Weather.
It's all next on ABC-7 at 9. Get ready. You become part of the day's news right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC-7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on ABC-7 at 9 on the CW. I'm Bob Harp, and I'll have all the stories you're buzzing about tonight in social media.
And I'm Nichole Gomez, currently tracking thunderstorms on Doppler radar. Let's take a quick look and see some of those storms moving in from the east. As you can see, though, they're well to our east around Guadalupe Pass and tracking into Del City, where you can see those lightning strikes. But coming up, we'll take a look at those storms and which direction they're heading. That's all coming up in just a bit. Bob?
All right, looking good. Thanks so much for that, Nicole. A rollover crash just outside of Fort Stockton, Texas. It's now hitting close to home tonight here in El Paso. A recent graduate of Franklin High School and 3 of her family members were all killed. 18-year-old Taylor Garza's best friend sent us this picture earlier today of Taylor. And also killed in the crash, Taylor's mom, 39-year-old Stephanie Ann, and her little brothers, Peter and Jesse. Taylor's dad and 6-year-old sister survived the crash. Tonight, both are out of the hospital. State troopers say one of the tires on the family's SUV blew out, causing it to roll over. Tonight, there is a special celebration in honor of Taylor's life that was happening at the restaurant she worked at. ABC-7's Ashley Rodriguez will have that report coming up tonight at 10 o'clock over on ABC-7. In the meantime, Cynthia tonight on Facebook telling us, may they rest in peace. God bless the survivors. From Haiti, so sad. What a wonderful family. A tragic loss for our community. Danielle saying, my thoughts and prayers go out to this poor family. Just breaks my heart. And from Paulina tonight, so sad when these things happen. I don't know this family, but I feel terrible for what happened to them. May the Lord help the husband and his little girl regain strength. And this also has you talking about tire safety and why you need to check your tires regularly. The discussion that you started on our Facebook page coming up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, 2 other people killed in different incidents over the weekend on the road. Both happened on Saturday. One was at Diana and Gateway North when 3 cars crashed into each other. Police saying a driver ran a red light and hit a car driven by 61-year-old Hildegard Jandro. The cars then hit a 3rd vehicle. 2 other people were hospitalized. Earlier on Saturday, an El Paso man was killed when he was hit by a train. This happened on the 8100 block of Carpenter out in the Lower Valley. Police are saying 25-year-old Jesus Manuel Lopez was walking across the railroad track when it happened. Investigators are looking into whether Lopez was intoxicated at the time. Here's a question for you. Can government workers refuse to perform gay marriages, or do they have to uphold the law as ordered by the Supreme Court? This discussion has Paula telling us tonight then they can quit and find a job where it isn't an issue. J-Rod, though, saying doesn't mean they have the right to infringe on others' religious beliefs or be disrespectful. The same-sex marriage ruling by the Supreme Court is proving to be anything but cut and dry. Now county clerks and judges are hearing 2 different messages, conflicting messages from state officials. Both agree, though, that county clerks or judges could face costly civil rights lawsuits if they refuse to perform gay marriages, because the Supreme Court has determined it's a constitutional right. We checked, and the administrative judge in El Paso, Alma Trejo, told us that no judge in El Paso has yet objected to performing a same-sex marriage. Rodriguez saying that Presidio County's clerk did refuse to issue a marriage license to a gay couple in Marfa on Friday.
The powers of the 10th Amendment If they're not defined in the Constitution, those powers of the 10th Amendment are given to the states. It's up to the people of the state to make that decision.
They have a duty and an obligation under the Supreme Court decision and the United States Constitution to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples, and that failure to do so may subject them, will subject them to liability.
And here are some of the comments that you left us tonight on this issue. Levi telling us on Facebook, it's time someone stood up for what the Bible said. It's an abomination. And again, Paul is saying this is not an issue of legality, it's an issue of constitutional rights. And you do have a lot more to say about this, plus a story that we have tonight on an El Paso wedding venue that told a local gay couple they cannot get married there. What you're saying about that as well in just a few minutes. It's also a big win for the gay community, as we know, including military couples in some states like Tennessee. They're refusing services to spouses of gay veterans. But the Veterans Affairs Office today saying it will look into those issues and address them as soon as possible. The Supreme Court could be preparing to hear its biggest abortion case in nearly 25 years. The court today refused to let Texas enforce restrictions that would have caused 10 abortion clinics to close. By a 5-4 vote, the justices granted an emergency appeal from those clinics. And the order will stay in effect at least until they decide whether to hear the clinic's appeal of a lower court ruling. Now, this one just as divisive on Facebook, as you can imagine. Nearly 100 comments in the last few hours. Tonight, Ann telling us, Texas, please stop being so close-minded. But Tricia answering back, following God's word is not close-minded. And of course, everything continues right now at KVIA.com, including the debate on same-sex marriage and the abortion issue.
What we're saying is the only way to guarantee your right to celebrate your religion any way you choose, and the only way for me to guarantee that I have the right to celebrate my faith any way I choose is to make sure the state has no say in that.
Okay,
right.
I'm going to interrupt you guys for a little bit.
And the Supreme Court, correct?
I'm going to interrupt you guys for a little bit.
And the Supreme Court, though, right, David?
No, well, the Supreme Court just took it out of the state's hands.
Well, I know, but they don't
shouldn't have been in the state's hands to begin with.
They don't have any business ruling on it.
And it should never have been in the state's hands to begin with.
Oh, that was the discussion last night on ABC-7 Extra. If you missed any of our coverage from Friday till right now, just go to KVIA.com and you can watch last night's Extra with Maria Garcia. As you can see, things got a little heated at times. All right, other news tonight, ABC-7, we were expecting the results today of about 90 tuberculosis tests. This out of Frank Macias Elementary School in Horizon City. That is where 163 students and 8 staff members were potentially exposed. We confirmed parents of those students got the results today. They should be released to us sometime this week. As of Friday, about 70 more students needed to be tested. This story broke last week when the health department announced someone at the school had active TB and the school's second graders could be at risk. New developments tonight on a story that many of you could not stop talking about last year. Well, take a look. This man, Joseph Torres, he was at home with his family when a group of 4 men allegedly broke into his Doña Ana County home on New Year's Day. Torres, who's a mixed martial artist, fought all 4 men off, killing one of them.
I'm not a murderer. I was just protecting my family, and if you call someone protecting their family and their children a murderer, then I guess you could call me that.
Well, Torres was cleared of all charges. The mother of the man killed, Sal Garces, says Torres had no reason to kill her son. Her other son, Raymond Garces, was with Sal at the time, and he is waiting to see if a judge will accept his plea deal because even the DA says Raymond Garces was trying to break the fight up. Nathan Avelos also faces charges, and 2 women allegedly played a role in setting this whole thing up. Silver Betancourt and Rachel Carrillo face charges as well. From our New Mexico mobile newsroom tonight, the 5th person charged is now on trial. Leonard Calvillo. He faces various charges, including attempted murder, child abuse, and aggravated battery. We do have video of Calvillo entering the courtroom today. When Torres took the stand, he showed a lot of emotion, and he said that Calvillo and 3 other gang members broke into his home. The defense says that not once did Torres call police, but we have a 911 recording of Torres' wife calling for help.
Get off of him! Get off of here! Ma'am, how many people are fighting? Bring somebody with us! Ma'am, we have them on the way. I need you to calm down.
Well, during his testimony today, Torres told the court that he thought he was going to die.
It escalated into where I was holding Sal Garces down. Leonard and Nathan were trying to stab me, hitting me with objects. They hit me with bottles. They were kicking me, and then they were trying to stab me as well.
This is a case about two individuals that agreed to fight, a mutual fight, and it went very bad.
If convicted, Calvillo faces about 30 years behind bars, and that trial, of course, continues tomorrow. We'll let you know what happens. And back here in El Paso, the new city council is taking shape. Peter Schwartzbein won the right to represent most of the West Side in a runoff election earlier this month. The newcomer joins Reps Claudia Ordaz, Dr. Michael No, and Courtney Nyland, who won re-election. They were all sworn into office at the Plaza Theater tonight just a few hours ago. Schwartzbein replaces Ann Morgan Lilly. So this is what El Paso City Council looks like tonight, just one new face. Well, we have live traffic coverage for you tonight. Keep in mind, a lot of construction will continue for a while along I-10. In the meantime, this shot of I-10 in Lee Trevino, everything looks okay. Weather-wise, looks pretty good out there as well, Nicole.
Here in El Paso, but I just saw that we've got a thunderstorm damage. Let's take a look at Doppler radar so I can zoom in a little closer to some of the activity taking place. Notice it's around Guadalupe Pass, Dale City area. And notice we have wind gusts at 69 miles per hour. That's that thunderstorm moving in. So let's zoom in just a little closer here. As I mentioned, it's around Guadalupe Pass, and that's where we're seeing those strong wind gusts, and that's thanks to that cell moving through the area. And you can see Dale City also picking up some heavy rainfall and thunderstorm in that region. You can tell by the yellows, the oranges, and of course the lightning strikes. So we'll zoom in a little closer here to Guadalupe Pass, and they're definitely getting pounded. We're even seeing some fuchsia and reds associated with this cell. Now, as we travel towards the Sacramento Mountains, seeing some moderate rainfall track through the area mountains, Ruidoso and Mescalero. And as far as El Paso and Las Cruces, as of now, we're still dry, but I'm still tracking those scattered showers. We still have the possibility of seeing some rainfall tonight. Our rain chances will go down tomorrow, but will they return for the holiday weekend? I'm sure that's what everybody wants to know. I'll have that answer in your full forecast. Bob?
All right, thanks so much. We appreciate that, Nicole. Hey, back to one of our talker stories tonight. A few minutes ago, we told you about how there's some confusion about who can and cannot preside over weddings and gay weddings here in Texas and in El Paso specifically. Well, we also told you that a local business is making it clear it is not taking part in same-sex marriage ceremonies. Grace Gardens said Paul Mendez and Gabe Barrera cannot get married there. So the couple contacted us.
As soon as I pretty much told her, hey, you know, it's going to be for a gay, ceremony, she said, okay, well, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't want to raise your spirits anymore, but the owners are entitled to their opinions or whatever, but they do not allow gay marriages in their facility.
And Grace Gardens owner is saying that she's exercising her religious freedom to deny same-sex marriages, adding Grace Gardens believes marriage is a covenant established by God between a man and a woman only. Grace Gardens also believes in the constitutional rights of individuals and the entities they own to express their own religious beliefs, including their objections to same-sex marriages. Now, you will find the entire statement from Grace Gardens at KVIA.com right now. In the meantime, Nicole, let's go ahead and get to the discussion that this part of the story sparked just a little while ago.
That's right. Bob Christian says we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Bobby, good for her. Stand for what you believe in. Ophelia, there are plenty of beautiful gay-friendly venues. It's her right to deny service.
And Lorraine saying, me and my family will stand by Grace Gardens and biblical marriage. Thina saying, as a businesswoman, though, she's a moron if she can't put her beliefs aside.
And Ramos says, even though she had every right to serve who she pleases, this is a bad business move. And Eddie, not a very good business call, especially for one that has so much competition in the area.
And from Tony, if it mattered where your money came from, you wouldn't be in business. All right, well, Nicole, back to our top story tonight. 18-year-old Taylor Garza was one of the 4 family members killed in a deadly rollover. Investigators are saying that rollover was caused by a tire blowout just outside of Fort Stockton. Now, the 2 family members survived the crash, her dad and her 6-year-old sister. And this story has many of you sharing your concerns tonight, Nicole, at home, saying tire safety is something we all need to pay attention to.
Thomas writes, tires are the most important and often most overlooked safety feature of a vehicle. People should be reminded to check your tires frequently. And Ethan, maybe KVIA should do a segment on how to handle a blowout on the road. The initial reaction is to hit the brakes, which is the worst thing you could do. Just a thought.
And Yvonne responding with Hitante saying, great idea. What can we do to prepare ahead of time, and what do we do if it happens? I'm always worried of these things when we road trip. Christine saying, so very sad. This has happened so many times in the area. Tires need to be checked often, especially before going on long trips.
And Jay says air pressure is a major thing. Have to let out the air at a certain PSI. Hours of driving makes the tire heat up and expand.
I would say definitely not a bad idea to check with any place that sells tires and installs them, and an expert could definitely look at them and give you some advice on what you need to do before hitting the road. And if we get any other information, we'll put it on Facebook. And well, there's a story tonight, and it has Lucy telling us they're called consequences, Mr. Trump. Welcome to the real world, where cause and effect exists. Well, she is talking about what the Trump recently said about Mexicans and the aftermath many say they saw coming days ago. Also tonight, hey there, can I buy you a drink? Okay, that's probably what he would say if he could talk, and you would probably say yes. Tonight, social media buzzing, calling this the sexiest gorilla ever. You have to hear this story, Nichole. Weather, on a serious note, you're tracking some activity.
I am tracking thunderstorms mainly out to our east, but it looks like they're headed in our direction. We'll take a closer look at Doppler radar coming up at Storm Track Weather.
This is ABC 7 at 9 on the CW. You don't just watch the news, you are the news. We'll be right back.